สัมมาสัมพุทโธภควาพุทธังภควันตังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตภควตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมมัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภควโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนะมามิธัมมยังพุทธัสสะภควโตอุปภาคณมการังกโรมะเสนะโมตัสสะภควโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภควโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภควโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะ Okay, good afternoon, all the Dhamma lovers from around the world. My name is Ven.Narongchai. I will be your instructor for this Dhamma subject for the next 8 weeks, and another 7 weeks we will be taking over by Dr. Desha. How was your first experience with the first class, okay, with the Venerable Varavut? To me, it's amazing. You may feel like, oh, the Dhamma proverb, the elementary level is super easy Dhamma. I already know all of that. How much should I learn from that? Okay, but as you study Buddhism long enough, as you go through all the sutra, you will realize that you will appreciate whoever come up with this grouping of the Dhamma that make it easy. Each sentence that you just heard from Venerable Varavut, it's subtract, it's highlight from many sutra. I don't know how many sutra that you have come across today, just by spending time with him, listen to him, in the past 1 hour. It just capture the highlight of the sutra. So if you feel like you know some of this, why don't you think deeper how to put them into practice? Why don't you go back to the original text? Where did this words, this sentence come from? What the Buddha mean? Who did he talk to? Just like the story of Prince Poti Rashkuman that he mentioned at the end of his lecture. There's a lot of things behind. Okay, please don't feel like elementary level it's easy. Why don't we just go to the advanced? You cannot take the Dhamma lightly. Don't be careless. To me, I really enjoyed it. Okay, there are more than 500 Buddha Vajana or the Buddha proverb, but you may not cover all of that because of it's only 15 weeks. But you don't have to limit yourself for this. Okay, all the material that we prepare, you can go extra mile. You can go further than that. You can do self-study. You can get to know all of those 500 verses that mentioned in the text. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, I believe you come here, sign up for this program for a reason. You dedicate your time, you make an effort, so you deserve to get the most out of it. We as an instructor, we provide you the direction, we give you the material, we give you the framework, but you don't have to limit yourself with those framework. You can go beyond that line. Okay, if you want more text, let us know. If you want more material, let us know. Just to give you a quick example of what we just learned from Luang Pi Varavut. What about the one sentence that can change our life, right? There's a lot of things that you learned today. You need to go back and reflect. For example, the Buddha said, if there is only one thing that when it gets cultivated and developed, will bring happiness to our life, and that thing is the mind. That's what he said. Okay, if we listen to it, likely we may not learn anything much. But if you think deeper, you say, oh, is the mind can be trained? And the reason why am I suffering? Because maybe it's because I'm not training my mind properly. So that means the good news is the mind can be trained, and the trained mind bring happiness to the owner, to you, right? That's one Buddha Vajana, one phrase that can turn your life upside down. Everything that you learn, you must think deeper, and you must find the connection of each Dhamma that you learn. You may feel overwhelming of those Dhamma, but if you think a little bit, you may realize that, hey, every word that we learn from the Buddha is coming down to one thing, coming down to one taste. Is the taste of happiness. It's the taste of liberation. Whatever Dhamma that you learn. The Buddha said Dhamma is like, you think of the ocean. The water from the ocean, wherever you take it, it's going to be salty. The taste is salty. The Dhamma is the similar. Whatever Dhamma you learn, if you understand, if you put into practice all the way through, it gives you the same taste, which is the taste of liberation, the taste of happiness, nothing else. Just pick up one sentence and focus on it. Okay, it can change your life upside down. Don't feel overwhelming. Okay, just coming down to this principle. You're here to be happy. You're here to learn something that benefit you. You maybe consider yourself an advanced, Dhamma study. You may be a Buddhist scholar. You may be new to the Dhamma. You may heard this phrase or the Pali term for the first time. It's okay. Okay, so our job here is to try to balance it out, not too easy, not too difficult. I believe we have 60 people sign up for the class, and today we have about 33, 30 something. Okay, and hopefully the rest will join later, and to see how many people will make it to the end of the semester, 15 weeks, and to see if people might want to continue to the intermediate and the advanced levels. Okay, for me, I feel very fortunate because whoever come up with this curriculum, okay, is very smart. So too many Dhamma that we don't know where to start. The Buddhist texts keep all the things that the Buddha teach, all the things that the great disciple teach, but we just don't know how to study them. Buddhist scholar monk in the past, they come up with this system they call Nakdhamma. So let's get started for the Dhamma subject. This subject is called the Dhamma subject. It's one of the 4 subjects that you will be learning in this elementary level. My name is Ven.Narongchai. Okay, I will be teaching you for the first 8 subject, 8 weeks. And we have 2 instructor, myself here, and so some other place you can contact us as well. We have Facebook, use the same name, which is Nakdhamma. And if you feel like you cannot make lecture or make note, maybe you're driving or you're doing something at work, it's okay. Just go back and relearn on your own pace. We have objective. I'll send you to the live group. You can download it. Don't worry too much about it. Again, my initial feeling when I take this job to teach is how can we make the student happy? How can we make people interested in study Dhamma? That's the idea. Happiness, okay, is the objective. To keep it simple, you learn something. Like I said, there's a lot of teaching of the Buddha that kept in the Buddhist text, which many of us don't have access to or try to access, but don't know how to explore all of that properly and systematically. This Dhamma course will be covering this all these subject. The Dhamma will be grouped into groups, into headings. The group of 2, which we'll be learning today, the group of 3, the group of 4, like this, all the way to the group of 10s. There are many of them. I don't think we can cover all of this, so I have to select what to teach each week. Like today, we will be learning 4 Dhamma principle, which is considered the group of 2. And next week, we will move on to the group of 3, and so forth until the last week will be the group of 10s. Okay, and when we go to the intermediate level and the advanced level, it's go through the same format because there's so many Dhamma. You can go through the books, the textbook that we provide. Those have more detail of what we learn in this class. So feel free to go through them and read them. And if you have questions, feel free to ask, okay, later on when we meet. So this is the grading system. Because you will get the certificate, so you finish the final exam. If you make it to more than 90, you get honor. If you below that, 60 to 89 is considered satisfying. If below 55, it's unsatisfied. So in this class, the attendance count for 15%. Final exam another 70%. So I'm still thinking of the assignment. Okay, let me finalize with Dr. Desha. How can we do this? Myself, I don't want anybody to have homework or assignment or anything. Like so just take it, relax. Just come to the class, learn something. Okay, and don't want anybody to worry about seriously study and to get good grades. But again, this is how the curriculum designed, so we weren't gonna stick with that. So I'll let you know when I figured out what is the assignment, or should we just cancel it out. Okay, so we'll let you know later on. And this is the first week. There will be 15 weeks, right? Today we learned the Dhamma group 2. That means 2 Dhamma on each group. And then second weeks, next Sunday, will be moved to the group of 3 all the way to the last week. which is the week 15. This will be in the course syllabus that I send it to everyone. If you don't have it, just go back to the live group and download it. This is the book that we use. Again, you can have that. And if you go through our website, nakdhamma.org, at the very end, you can download it. Okay, you can download the books. The second book will be, this one will be uploaded very soon, but I already sent it to the live group already. Okay, the Navakovada. Even though this is designed for the monks and the novice back then, but it's the same book that used in this class. So the lay people can learn as well, because Dhamma is for everyone, okay? Not just for the monks to learn. And this is the sample of the certificate that you'll be receiving. Importantly, not just to memorize the Dhamma and take the exam, but be able to put them into practice. If today we learn about mindfulness, at the end of the class, at the end of the day, at the end of the semester, you should be more mindful person. That's how I see it. That's how we expect. Okay? You learn about the 5 precepts. You can make a good score. You can memorize what are the 5 items in the 5 precepts, what are the 8 items in the 8 precepts. But you're still breaking precept every day. So what's the point of learning Dhamma? It doesn't make your life happier or better, right? And this is the important point to think before you take the class. You learn Dhamma so you can use the Dhamma to make your life better and happier. If you feel that your life already good, already happy, you can be happier. You are not at the best version of your life at the moment. None of us, including myself. And how can we get there without having access to the right teaching or the teaching of the Buddha, right? So keep that in mind. So we learn the theory part, hopefully you can put into practice and one day be able to share with others, people around you, people that you love. You learn today that we should love ourselves the most. Don't misunderstand this sentence. Love ourselves, it doesn't mean we are selfish. Love oneself means we make ourselves pure. We purify ourselves, body, speech, and mind. Because when your mind is pure, body, speech automatically will be pure as well. And with this pure mind, pure body, pure speech, wherever you are, you make the world better, a better place to live, both for yourself and for people around you. So if you love yourself, bring yourself to the wholesome path. Bring yourself to the teaching of the Buddha. Hang out with the Buddha and bring someone you love to the same path as well. So how can we study Dhamma? There's so many teaching. Have you ever thought of this? How many Dhamma have you learned so far in your life? How many teaching of the Buddha have you go through? How many sutra have you read in your life? It is said there are more than 21,000, okay, 21,000 teaching of the Buddha kept in the Sutta Pitaka. The teaching of the Buddha kept in the Pali Canon and is kept in the 3 baskets. It's called Tipitaka. Ti mean 3, Pitaka mean basket. Okay, with the Vinaya Pitaka that kept all the rule and regulations for the monk and the nuns. The Sutta Pitaka, this is what we're talking about, is keep all the Dhamma where the Buddha and the great disciple teach back then. And the Abhidhamma Pitaka, there are 3 baskets. Okay, we will not go to this, but I will stop by here and there, and you will learn something from the Vinaya Pitaka from another session. And okay, my job is to take you a tour to explore this basket in the next 15 weeks for the elementary level. All of those 3 baskets, it is said there are 84,000 teaching. A lot, right? How can we study all of this? To keep it short, okay, we can summarize everything in this text into 3 headings. The first one is called the Sila. Second one is called the mind. And the third one is called the Panya. The Sila, the mind, and the Panya, they are the short form of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the path that lead to the Nibbana or the liberations. Whether you are monk, nun, novices, or you are a lay person, we follow the same structure of self-development, of intensive self-development. If you put the right Dhamma into practice, your life is happy at the moment. Okay? We don't have to wait until we get to Nibbana, a supreme happiness, but we can be happy here and now. You can be happy as a father, as a husband, as the boss, as a student, as an employee. Understand the Dhamma first. Okay, look at the map. get to know them first and then put them into practice. In this elementary levels, we will be learning some of, I would say a lot of the Dhamma, okay, from the Sutta Pitaka, and make it easier for us to digest because it will be grouped, easy to learn, easy to memorize, the group of two, the group of three, the group of four, and so on. And back then it was very difficult, okay, for among and nuns, lay people to study Dhamma because they're all in Pali. It's difficult. And later on, Venerable สมเด็จพระมหาสมณเจ้ากรมพยาวชิรานวโรรส the great monks back then who come up with the Nakdhamma curriculum, translate everything into Thai and make it into 3 levels, which is this one, the Nakdhamma 3 elementary level, Nakdhamma 2 intermediate level, and Nakdhamma 8 advanced level. The lay people can study as well. The system is like this. For the Nakdhamma study, for the monks and novice, and then we call Nakdhamma. And for the lay people, the program calls Dhamma Siksa. Siksa means study. Okay, the main difference is the lay people don't have to study all the Vinaya, the rules that related to the monastic life. So that's pretty much the main difference. For the rest, curriculum, they are the same. They're pretty much the same. So we'll be learning the Buddhist proverb already, the first subject. Today we learn the Dhamma subject. And the next week, you will be learning the history of the Buddha and the Vinaya as well. So in this group, it's quite special. We have both monks and the lay people who join in the same batch. The lay people, you may have to learn some of the monastic code or the Vinaya as well. Okay, so that's how the program is designed because there are monks here that they're supposed to know. Not 100% go through the Vinaya. Okay, what monk can do, what monk cannot do. There's something else that can benefit the lay people as well. Okay, so these are the 4 subjects that I prepare. I don't know if we can finish all of this. We'll see. Okay, I can, like I said, it depends on the student and the teacher how deep we want to go. Because if you go through the books, like this book, or the books that you download it may take you 1 hour to go through everything in the books. I was sitting here, go through these few books in few days. So I have some idea what's in there. But how much do we know? How much do we understand if we go through that quickly and we take it very lightly? For example, for today, we are going through this. This may sound easy for many of us, especially if you are monks. You may feel like, oh, sati, oh, sampajanna, mindfulness and the comprehension. I know that. Oh, hire-ottappa, moral shame and moral fear. I also know that. What's special about them? What is khanti, patience? What is soracca? I think I know that too. What is Pubbakari? What if Katannukatavedi? I also know that too. Why so excited about this? 4 groups of Dhamma that we are going to learn together today. So we can go deep, we can go superficial, we can go moderate. It depends on, like I said, the time that we have, the teacher and the student, how much they're willing to learn. Okay, my job is to let you know as much as Dhamma possible. That's one way of looking at. At the same time, I don't want to just go through it quickly, just give you the term and the definition. That's how we do in the school, right? For the kids. But we adult, we should think deep. We should reflect more. We should get a lot out of this Dhamma that you may feel simple. But to me, I don't feel simple at all, even though it's fall into the category of the elementary level. But as you study, as if you consider yourself a serious Buddhist, serious students, you may see that this teaching like sati, the mindfulness, the comprehension, hire-ottappa is appear everywhere throughout the text. And how can we put them into practice? How is our sati from the day one that we heard about it up to today, as we become a monk, as we become a lay Buddhist? How is your sati? How is your mindfulness? How is your hiri? How is your ottappa? That's something you should think deeper when it's come to the Dhamma. And the Buddha always said, don't take the Dhamma lightly. Whenever someone give the Dhamma talk, he may be younger than you. You may have more education than whoever give that Dhamma. The Buddha said, please do not take it lightly. Put your life into it. Your ear, your eye, your heart, your intention to listen. To listen. This is how you learn. You can always learn something from a person, even though it's the same Dhamma subject that you learned before, that you think you understand before. Okay? So in my life, I have been teaching this over 15 years, the same subject. But you know what? I don't learn the same thing every time I teach. That's amazing of the Dhamma. I teach the Four Noble Truths, I teach the Sutta, but I don't understand the same as I learned from last time before I teach. That's how deep of the Dhamma, especially when you study and you meditate. This is the technique. The Buddhist text is not designed as the academic, just like other academic texts, to memorize and go take exam. No. You come back, you read, you study, you go back and meditate, and you come back and learn it. You understand more. The Buddha always there to teach you something. When your mind is refined, you will pick up something that you never understand before. That's the beauty of the teaching of the Buddha. Start from the first group, the virtue of great assistance, or Pubbakari-Katannukatavedi, the virtue of great assistance. In this first group, there are two items on the list, which is sati and sampajanna. Okay, don't worry if you are new to the Pali terms. I don't think there will be the Palis in the exam. Okay, don't worry about it. Just want you to know what it is and how to put them into practice. Why they consider the virtue of great assistance. There must be a reason, right? There must be a reason. You may learn sati, you may learn sampajanna, you may learn mindfulness and the clear comprehension, and why the Buddha put them together, and why the Buddha said these two virtues are the great of assistance. Why is that? The virtue of great assistance. Assistance mean what? That means these two things, sati and sampajanna, we get to the definition in a moment. For now, sati is mindfulness, sampajanna is the clear comprehension, if you're not familiar with the Pali terms. Why mindfulness and clear comprehension are considered great assistance? Assist what? Is there anything that you do in your life that you don't need to have sati? You don't need to have sampajanna. In terms of Dhamma practice, okay, these two things super crucial to master, to understand and to master. Sati usually translates to the mindfulness. I will give you another meaning of sati in a moment, which maybe surprise you if you think you already know. And the second one is the sampajanna. These are the four common terms used throughout text for many scholars. The comprehension, full comprehension, the clear comprehension, the full awareness, or the clear awareness. I will give you some other English term as well. This is when it comes to study the Buddhist text. One Pali terms it can translate into many meanings. So one English vocabulary is not always enough to complete the whole sense of meaning of that particular Pali word. Let's say the word vipassana. Vi and passana. Vi means noble. Passana means seeing. You see something special. You see something noble. You see something that you never saw before. It's like it depends on which vocabulary seen fit the most through the lens of those scholars who translate the Pali. So when you go through the Buddhist text in English yourself, I suggest you to go through at least several translators. It gives you a better understanding of what it means in that Pali terms. So here, sati is mindfulness for now. Okay, sampajanna are these four terms. There's another thing that about sati as well. It's about remembering, which I will explain a little bit more in a moment. And sampajanna is the clear knowing. They are not the same. They are not the same. This is one of my favorite subjects. We can spend hours just go through these two things, sati and sampajanna. To me, it's super important. If you ask me, among those 84,000 teachings of the Buddha, if I were allowed to select one thing for me to practice for my whole life that will take me to Nibbana, this is it. Sati and sampajanna. Super important. Not the precept, not the dana, not the giving, not meditation. but start from here. How can you have concentration without being mindful? You cannot, right? You just cannot. It's impossible. Let me show some of this helpful information to realize that sati and sampajañña is super important. When you go through the Satipatthana Sutra, which the Buddha talk about how to develop mindfulness, this is the teaching that he gives the full detailed explanation about how a man can develop mindfulness. And why should a man develop mindfulness? Why don't the Buddha just teach how to meditate? There is a reason for that, right? So if meditation is the goal, to have a concentrated mind, to have an undistracted mind, that's the goal. But how can we get there? And most people ask, oh, I have been meditating for many years. How come I don't make progress? How come I feel like I make a very slow progress in my meditation? Not many people talk about sati. Not many people talk about sampajañña. You're missing some important elements to help you to have a good meditation or good concentration or undistracted mind. To have an undistracted mind. And here there are three things involved for a man to have a good concentration. Number one, you must have sati or mindfulness. Number two, you must have sampajañña or the clear comprehension. And I like this translation. I call it integrating wisdom. Sampajañña is the wisdom element, the element that allow you to understand what's going on and how to deal with that situation. And is that all? No, there's another one here. It's called perseverance. The Pali term called atapi. Atapi is this one. Satima is this one, satima. And sampachano is sampajañña. Perseverance is an effort, is the energy. This element is like a diligent element. It's just keep you going non-stop. It's keep you going. But if without the sampajañña, you will get stressed. You just get going. You don't stop, right? Sometimes you have to stop. If you try to visualize the object, if you try to focus your attention to your breath, try to stop the mind from thinking. It may work in the first 5 minutes, but after 10 minutes, the mind get tired and just want to quit. You need to balance all of this. You need to be mindful of what you do. You need to know how to do it properly, and you need to keep on going. Then concentration will come. It's a piece of cake, theoretical riddle. But in the practical way, you need to work on it. Okay, this is how important of sati and sampajañña. That's why it's considered the great assistance for you to be success in your meditation journey, in your Dhamma practice. You need to have sati. And here, as you can see, that you may not realize all the major Dhamma that the Buddha taught, they always have sati there. The 5 faculty and the 5 powers, the Noble Eightfold Path also have the right mindfulness. The 7 awakening factors start from mindfulness. So how can you neglect sati? It's impossible for you to be success in your Dhamma practice, in your meditation practice. Sati is super important. Somehow it's the first thing that you learn in this elementary level. That's why I said, please don't take it like the, oh, I already know sati. I already know what it means. But there's something that you can get out of this subject if you really open up your heart, your mind, and you're trying to understand what the Buddha means. And most importantly, try to connect the dot. All of this that we'll be learning, they are related. They are related. But for now, as the new student, you may not see how they related. How sati sampajañña support hire-ottappa, and how soracca and support khanti, and how khanti go back and support sati and sampajañña. You may not see that at the moment, but they are related. That's the beauty of the teaching, that you need to look for it. Sometimes you may not realize that they connected to each other. So the problem of the world means one human, us. In Buddhism, the world can be this physical world and us as the 5 aggregate. You are one world. Ven.Narongchai is one world. Okay, Haigo is one world. Jordan is one world. So what's the problem with the world today? The problem with us today is we are not able to keep the mind in the body. Human mind is everywhere. And we don't get used to that. And the reason we don't get used to that, because we never realize that the mind should be trained to be back into the body. to keep the mind to the body. And that is why the Buddha teaches the four satipatthana, where you should keep your mind all day long, not to the world, but here, to the body. When you walk, when you talk, when you eat, when you do things, the mind should be with you. How you feel, you know how you feel. That means the mind is with you all day long. The moment that you wake up until the time that you go back to bed, your mind is bombarding with all kind of stimuli, and it stay outside all day long without you realizing it. And when you come home, you want to meditate 30 minutes, you feel you're very tired. How come it took you a long time to calm the mind down and bring the mind back? Because you let the mind wander all day long. That's the problem. And how can we deal with this? Again, it's coming back to the principle of sati. All emotion that we go through in the morning, smiling, afternoon, sad in the evening, cry. This is life. This is life. And that is why the number one global disability, according to the World Health Organization, is depression. Who doesn't have depression? Who doesn't have stress? The Buddha said long time ago, unbelievable. He said, it is possible to find a man who proclaimed that, hey, I have been living for 100 years. I never have sickness, physical illness. Possible, because there are people who live more than 120. Japanese people live really long. Some people live really long. But he said it's almost impossible to find a man who can, confidently proclaim that I have no mental illness even for 1 second. What it means by that is there's no moment that your mind in the perfect peace and calm stage. The minds go after something all the time. The food of the mind is feel something all the time. So that's why this day people have depressed, people kill themselves. It's kind of sad. This is what's wrong with the world today. And that's why sati is important. Whatever stream in this world, stream in the defilements, the sati is their prevention. And that is the restraint of for the stream. By wisdom they are shut off. You see how important of sati and sampajanna. That means if you put all the defilement in the world in front of you, if you only have sati, you can be safe. Short teaching, extremely powerful and get to the point. That's why I said if I were to choose one thing, I would choose sati. Okay, if I don't know a lot of things in the Buddhist text, if I know what sati means, if I know how to practice it, I will be safe from all the bad things. Being mindful, that means you have sati. One, you cross the attachment to this world. Well, if you cross the attachment or the tanha, where do you go? Where the mind goes? It's liberated. You may not be able to completely get rid of them, but they may not harm you that much because you are mindful, you have sati. You see, that's just the beginning of sati. So what is sati then? This is the definition I found in the Abhidhamma. All of this term, there is no one word that can explain the meaning of the word sati, which is mindfulness, the constant mindfulness, the recollection, the act of remembering. Okay, this is interesting. The bearing in mind, the non-forgetfulness. So sati is opposite to forgetfulness. If you have sati, you will not forget. So the text said the right mindfulness. So, but it doesn't tell us what it means by right mindfulness. The Noble Eightfold Path, the factor number 7 is called right mindfulness, and the factor number 8 is called right concentration. So right mindfulness is important. You need to have the right mindfulness. That means maybe the Buddha implied that there is something called the wrong mindfulness. Okay, which we will not discuss for the moment, but just a food for thought for you to look for it, this information. And here we see the word mindfulness, the sati translate to mindfulness. This is we running out of the vocabulary, the good vocabulary. What it means by mindfulness? How do you translate mindfulness into simple English? But people said, oh, you are at the present moment. That means you are mindful. Is that correct? Interesting, right? I don't see this in the text. What the Buddha mean by mindfulness? What the Buddha mean by sati? So you have to think. Sati or mindfulness mean you know when your mind attention move to something else. That's the practical meanings. At the moment you meditate, you breathe in and out, you keep your mind with your breath, and all of a sudden the thought come and the mind go after that thought. In that moment, if you can catch that the mind is supposed to be with the breath, not the thought. If you can catch that, that means you are mindful. Otherwise, you will get lost in thought and you cannot come back to the object of meditation. In other words, you remember of what you do. You remember that, hey, I'm meditating, I'm using anapanasati. You see, there is the word of sati. I'm using the breathing meditation technique, not the visualization, not the mantra. I remember this clearly and I'm doing it. And at the moment that your mind attention shift or move to something else, you catch it. This is mindfulness. Okay? So just for now, it's a lot of things to cover. How you practice mindfulness, this is from the Satipatthana. The Buddha suggests you to be mindful. Keep your mind in this 4 area all day long. Okay, ask yourself, where is the mind? When you ask yourself, where is your mind, then you know where the mind is. That means you are mindful, then you bring it back. You're supposed to keep on bringing it back, habituate it. Keep bringing the mind back to the body more often. Okay, through the body, mindful of you feel, how you feel, mindful of the mind. That means if you get angry, you know that you get angry. If you might have lust, you know that you have lust. You just know. That means you are mindful that, hey, now the condition of my mind is not the same. It's not clear as I want it to be. Okay, and the mind object, this is something a little bit deeper. Okay, what caused that angriness? What are the 5 hindrances? What are the 5 aggregates? Okay, which again, this is the advanced level. But just to keep it simple, be mindful of your body. When you walk, you talk, you eat. Okay, be mindful of how you feel. Be mindful of what you think. Okay, and make sure you bring the mind back to be at the calm and clear state of mind, to keep the mind joyful. That's the idea of practice, sati. And what is sampajanya? Sampajanya, this is the definition that I found in the Abhidhamma, which is cover pretty much the whole aspect of sampajanya. Sampajanya translate to wisdom. Sampajanya translate to the clear comprehension, which we found them here. It's wisdom elements, it's understanding, it's investigation, it's research. That means it think of something. It's discernment, it's differentiation, it's erudition, proficiency, subtlety, analysis, consideration, guidance. There may be some of this that makes sense to you. Take it. Insight, awareness, controlling faculty of wisdom, the absence of dullness, the truth investigation, and the right view. You see, if you are asked where is sampajanya fit into the Noble Eightfold Path, sampajanya is fall into the first item on the list of the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the right view. This is advanced. This should be in the exam of the advanced level. But for now, just hear me out. Don't worry about it. So sampajanya is wisdom, is the wisdom element. It helps us to understand. It helps us what to do. Okay, when we face a certain situation. And this is how you practice sampajanya. The Buddha teach very simple when he teach the monk how to develop sampajanya. The moment that the monk wake up, okay, when you get dressed, when you put the arms, when you put the robes on, when you walk arms round, when you come back, okay, when you eat, when you go toilet, when you go to bed, you must be mindful and you must be fully understand of each moment of what you do. So here the text says going forward and backward, looking toward and looking away, bending and extending limb. It's just the idea of the body, right? The body, do something. The body walk, the body sit, the body stand, the body look back and look forward. Okay, just bending and sitting, standing, this and that. This is just the body part, but the idea is everything that you do, you must fully understand. Not only you mindful, you should know fully of what you do. Okay, my quick question for you here is how and when sampajanya or the clear comprehension be arisen? How? We learn sati. We know sati mean what? Sati mean you know when your mind attention move to something, then you catch it, right? And how, when can sampajanya happen? Sampajanya cannot happen by itself. How can you comprehend something without being mindful? That thing must be in front of you. So another meaning of sati is you be with something in front of you fully. When you be with that thing fully, then you look into it, then you study it, then you understand what it is, and then you understand how to deal with it. So sampajanya can happening after you are mindful. It cannot happening alone. Okay, look at this. This is the summary. The mind is like the horse. The horse, the wild horse, will be running away if you don't tie them up to the pole, right? You cannot just get on the horse and riding the horse right away. It will not allow you to do that. So to train the horse, you need to tie the horse to the poles, and this is the mindfulness. And the pose is like the concentration or your meditation object. And where is the sampajanya? Where is the clear comprehension? Okay, you back to the same example. You sit and you observe your breath. You breathe in, you know that you breathe in. You breathe out, you know that you breathe out. You breathe in short, you know you breathe in short. You breathe out short, you know that you breathe out short. Long and short, in and out. You know. That means you are mindful, right? You tie your mind with the breath. But there may be the moment that the mind following some thought, the mind falling asleep. At that moment, you can catch that. And when you catch that, you are mindful of what is happening, that, hey, I'm falling asleep. Hey, the mind is not with the breath. So in this moment, the sampajanya will take action. Said, you know what? Let's wash your face. You know what? Let's have a cup of hot tea first and then come back and sit. Don't just sit there. You know what? You focus too much on your breath or the object. That's why you have stress here and there. You're not relaxed. Stop doing what doesn't work for you. This is the sampajanya roles, very important roles. And then you adjust, then you find yourself more relaxed with your meditation object, and then you continue. And the next 5 minutes it happen again. The mind go after the thought. Okay, if you can catch it, that you mean that means you are mindful. And when you are mindful, the sampajanya will help you to be able to do something about it. Maybe change the technique, maybe switch your leg, maybe do whatever it is to come back to the same stage, which is the state of mind being calm, being relaxed, and being happy. Then you can continue. This is how they support each other. Today, we will not talking about the samadhi yet, but I'll show you here so you can see the relationship among these terms, this Dhamma that we are learning. Okay? All right, so this is how people live their life. When you eat, you listen to the music, you watch the movie, you read the news, you do all kind of thing at one time. This is bad. This is considered bad to the lens of Buddhism. That means you habituate your mind to be busy, to be distracted. You don't even know what's in your mouth because your mind is not with the food. Mindfulness is not there. The mind change moment to moment. Oh, listen to the news, make decision of what to do, and put something in the mouth and chewing and write it down, make a note. You busy your mind. Okay, you should stop. Put everything down. When you eat, you eat. When you work, you work. When you cook, you cook. Don't do a lot of things at the same time. You may be harming yourself. And when you, this is how you develop mindfulness and sati and sampajanya in your daily life. When you do things, you focus. You take your time. Okay. How to clean the shelf? What kind of clothes? What kind of color? What kind of material should I use? How much detergent should I need? How much water should I need? This is sampajanya practice. Simple, seem to be mundane, but you practice Dhamma in your daily life. If you really understand what is sampajanya, what is sati, how do you brush your teeth? How many times you brush your teeth? You brush the upper teeth first or the lower teeth? How many times for the upper teeth that you brush? How many times did you brush the lower teeth? When you gonna finish? Sometimes you don't even know that you are brushing your teeth because you listen to the music, you think of the meeting or of the homework, whatever it is, and before long you finish. You don't even realize that whether your teeth is clean or not. You live life like an autopilot all the time. So summary is sati. Mindfulness is the sense of remembering. Okay, it's a reminding yourself before or while doing something. You know what you're doing, and you know when the mind is not there. And sampajanya is the fully understand, fully aware of you doing something. Okay. Okay, so I think I spend a lot of time on these first two Dhamma, but the rest, another three groups, maybe we can go a little bit faster because I like you to see how important of the Dhamma that you may feel like, oh, Long Pi, it's simple. It's not. It's not that simple. Okay, so we move on to the next one. The second group is called Dhamma for protecting the world, or Loka Pala Dhamma, which point to hire and ottappa in Pali. We get to know the meaning in the moment. Okay, when you hear this, you need to think. I like you to think that okay, why these two Dhamma, the Buddha put them together, and why the Buddha mentioned that, or the Buddha teach us that these two Dhamma consider the Dhamma that protecting the world. And I did mention already, when you hear the world, the word world, when you study Dhamma, you think of two things: the physical world where we live here, and the individual world. Okay? One life, one world. That means this Dhamma can protect the whole world and can protect individual too, if you practice them correctly. All right. What is hire? You may heard them for the first time, or you may come across them more often. What is hire? Hire, the vocabulary used often in the text is conscience, but I like this one, the moral shame or the sense of shame, okay, of doing something bad. That's called hire. Okay, it's the feeling shameful of wrongdoing, both when no one's around and when people see you in public and in private. You feel shameful, feel very shameful. It's the self-respect. The idea of you feeling shameful, it comes from yourself being shameful. I can't steal someone money because I'm a monk. I feel shameful. I can't do that. I can't telling a lie because my father raised me very well. He's a teacher. He's a priest. I born with this family, the family of a good man. I can't do it. So it's a self-respect. It's the text says, you feel shameful. You cannot leave your house naked. Nobody can, right? You feel very shameful. So same thing. We feel shameful of doing something that we know it's bad. And this hiri will help strengthen the sila or precept. You may not realize that, oh, how come hiri help fortify or strengthen the sila? If you think of the first 5 students, the Panchavakhi, when the Buddha gave the first teaching, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, the Buddha did not mention anything about precept, about the Vinaya. There was no rule in the first 12 years of the teaching career of the Buddha. There was no one rule mentioned or laid down. So that means the monk, from the first monk, Anya Kontanya, to the monk in the first 12 years, they don't learn about precept. They don't worry about precept. They live life based on this virtue, hiri and ottappa. I feel shameful. I'm a monk. I shouldn't telling a lie. I shouldn't have sexual misconduct. I'm a monk. It's by default. They are virtuous. So there's no rules. And later on, the people from different walks of life come and ordain, start doing something bad. Then the Buddha, when something happens, so he called for the meeting and then he issued the rules. That's how the Vinaya gets started. But before, there was no rules. There's only hiri and ottappa. Okay? And the second item is ottappa. Ottappa usually translate to English in these 4 vocabulary: the fear of wrongdoing, the moral fear, moral dread, concern, or the scruple, whichever that makes sense to you. Okay, these 4 vocabulary try to explain the word ottappa in Pali. It's the fear of the consequence of the wrongdoing that a person about to do. That means this person know that doing this is bad, right? If someone steals something, you may have to go to jail, and you don't want to go to jail because there's a consequence of stealing someone's stuff. It's against the law. That's why I will not do it, because I don't want to go to jail. This concern others. It doesn't concern yourself. It doesn't concern your integrity or your virtue. It concerns because you feel like if I do this, I will look bad. I don't want to go to jail. I make my family look bad. I make myself look bad. Or someone may fear of, if you the Dhamma student, you understand the law of karma. You may have the concept of merit and demerit and heaven and hell. If you break the precept, you may go to hell, this and that. Killing someone is considered breaking the first precept. There's a consequence of doing that, right? You may have to go to jail while you're still alive, and you may have to go to hell after you die. And we study Dhamma, we know that. So we don't kill someone because we fear of the consequence. We don't want to go to jail. We don't want to go to hell after we die. And that's the reason why people fear, because they understand the consequence of this bad thing that they're about to do. But here is opposite, right? Here is, you don't care about the consequence. You don't care whether go to jail or heaven or hell. I will not do it because I love myself. I respect myself. I don't need to worry about the consequence. They are not the same between hiri and ottappa, but they support each other. Like this, ottappa mean if you know that there is the poison snake over there, you will not go there because you have fear of being bitten by the snake. You go other direction, and that's the reason why we don't go there. We fear of snake. If there is no snake, we may go, right? If there's no law said if you steal someone's stuff, you go to jail. So you may steal it because no such law mentioned. This is a big difference. So here, it's like here is like you see the stuff is dirty. You don't want to touch it because you don't want yourself to be dirty. But the ottappa is like you see the hot burning stone. You don't want to touch. The reason you don't want to touch is because you don't want to get burned. You know the consequence. I don't want to get burned, so I don't touch it. I scare of touching that hot burning stone. This is the difference. So my question to you is, which one is more important and why? Between number one, hiri, and number two, and ottappa. So back to the definition, hiri means you respect yourself, right? Whether in public or in private, you will not do anything bad. But ottappa means you either fear of the law, the consequence, when you break the state law or the custom law. If you break that law, you may look bad, right? And if no law said, oh, you can steal someone's stuff, then you may be stealing someone's stuff. But with hiri, you will not do it, whether someone see it or not. Doesn't matter what the law said. You will not break precept. You will not do something bad. So for me, I feel like hiri is more important. But again, we need to understand both and practice both. And why hire-ottappa are considered the Dhamma that protecting the world? This appear in the exam, in the Thai exam. Your job is to know why and be able to answer this question. Okay, so I will leave it for you to be a food for thought. All right, so we move on to the third one. The third group is called the Graceful Dhamma. Sopana means beautiful. The Dhamma that make us as a human beautiful. In the worldly view, beautiful means your hair, your dress, right? Your gesture. You dress nice, people say, oh, you look nice, you look beautiful. But in the eyes of the Dhamma, no, we don't look through these material things. We look to inside. And the Buddha picked up two things among all the Dhamma. He picked two things. If you have these two things, you are considered a beautiful person. The first one is called khanti. Second one is called soracca. Today we come across several Pali terms. Again, don't worry about this term. They will not be in the exam. No, you don't have to memorize it. But it's good to know. Okay, if you are, like I said, if you are serious Dhamma student, it's almost unavoidable to encounter the Pali terms. When we chant, we say Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava, we say Namo Tassa. What does it mean? It's a Pali, right? We learn Atta Anatta, it's a Pali. We learn Paticca Samuppabada, it's a Pali. All the Dhamma is kept in Pali, so that's something you need to keep in mind. But for in this class, just hear the term, know what it is and how it works. No need to worry about memorizing the Palis. The Buddha once says, when a person is irritable, overcome and overwhelmed by anger, he does bad things, body, speech, and mind. And when his body breaks up, when he dies, after that, he reborn in a place of loss, a bad place, the underworld, the hell. You see how this translator tried to explain the word hell. He used three words: place of loss, bad place, the underworld, but it points to the same thing, which is the hell. So here the Buddha tried to teach us that if your mind is irritable, if you get angry, you can break precept. That means you don't have patience, you don't have khanti. When you don't have patience, you allow anger to overcome your mind. You can say something bad, you can do something bad easily. And when you do that, you break precept. Where the man go if he keep on breaking precept after he die? He go to hell, right? According to the teaching of the Buddha. So khanti usually translate to patience, to forbearance, endurance, and tolerance. You name it. This one of these may make sense to you, but let's see if you understand the real meaning or the character of khanti. It's not just patience. Khanti is opposite to the defilements called hatred or dosa. That's why it's called adosa or non-anger. So when you have khanti, you stand opposite to anger. Okay, it's the absence of rudeness. It doesn't mean that you suppress the anger too. People think, oh, khanti means I suppress the anger. At the beginning of your practice, this Dhamma, that's how we feel, right? We have to suppress. When someone says something bad, I don't like it. So, but I suppress it so I don't say something bad to him. Initially, that's how it works. But eventually, that's not. Your mind will become neutral. That's khanti. The ability to remain neutral. With a good situation, bad situation, you understand what's going on. And the reason you understand what's going on because you are mindful. You have sati. See, sati support khanti. And when you have sati, you have sampajanna, or the wisdom element start function. When the guy says something bad to me, what should I do? Should I say something bad to him? Should I direct my mind towards something else? You see how Dhamma are related. So when you learn, I like you to do your homework to connect the dot, okay, of the thing that we learn. And how you practice khanti, you need to develop metta or the living kindness. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us to not to get angry. But when we have metta, the mind is always soft, calm, and relaxed. And that support khanti very well. In Thai, we call อดทน which I really like this. I don't know who come up with this term. In Pali, we call khanti, right? And we try to understand the character of khanti. But in Thai word, there is a word called อดทน which give us the complete dimension of the word khanti. อด mean you do not get what you want. ทน mean you get what you don't want. I said, wow, this is very clever. Whoever come up with this term in Thai. อดทน อด mean อดกลั้น You don't get what you want. In life, we not always get what we want. And what can we do? You have to patient, right? You have to have khanti. Oftentimes, we don't always get what we want, and sometimes we get what we don't want. You may not expect the rain, but it's raining, right? And you don't like it. You go to work, you hit the traffic. You get something that you don't like all the time, and your mind get agitated, and then you get angry, and then people kill people. Come from this because they don't have patience. They lack of patience. They lack of mindfulness. As a monk, we always say, if you expect some hot food, you get cold food. You expect cold food, you get hot food. You go arms round today in the village. You don't know what to expect. Whatever put into your bowl, you eat that food. Maybe the food that you don't like. You expect rice, you get noodle. You expect pizza, you get eggs. You want KFC, there may be no KFC in the village for you. You know what I mean. And what can you do? You need to อดทน. You need to be patient. Then you'll be okay, right? And this is more difficult. The more difficult ones when it's come to patience. You may think of, okay, when someone says something bad, I can remain calm. That means you have patience, you have khanti, which is correct, which is good. If you can take this to the next level and ask yourself honestly, you may feel like I am a patient person. When someone says something bad, I'm okay. When someone cut off my lens, I can remain calm, which is good. That means you have developed khanti in you. What about if someone press you? Can you stop smiling? Can you stop yourself from smiling? This is more difficult, right? People like to hear good things. People like to be praised. If someone press you, your mind is like, wow, joy and super happy, and one more of that. This is the defilements. Imagine yourself, if you press the Buddha, how does he feel? Would he be smiling a lot, or he just remain calm? Think about it. This is patient. Okay, this is more difficult. If you already practice the first step, why don't you go up and practice to the second step? When someone press you next time, can you remain calm? I understand. Okay, I know how good I am. People say, "Oh, you speak English very well," and then you smile. And then another listener say, "Oh, you speak English very bad," and then you sad again. The mind is like up and down. So the type of patience, the patient to nature, okay, it's too hot, too cold, hungry, thirsty. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to meditate. Today is too cold. This you don't have patience. Patient to illness. When you are sick, you are sick. You need to, heal yourself. You need to be patient of that sickness. Okay, the right treatment. Take medicine. Take a rest. Nothing much you can do. You have to take a rest. You may want to work, but you cannot. Right? The body not allow you to do that. So patience to live with others, this is a more difficult. Wherever we go, wherever human exists, there always a problem. There always a conflict. The reason is very simple. Because we are ignorant being. We make mistake all the time. People always give us a hard time, right? So we need to be patient. We not always get what we want. And we not always get, okay, what we don't want. That's how life works. So patient to the defilement, this is more difficult. Okay, the defilement. For example, if you plan to sit and meditate for 1 hour, your intention initially was very good. So you sit after 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden there may be the inner voice telling you that, you know what, let's meditate tomorrow. Tonight there's the movies or it's the show. Let's go watch movie first and meditate tomorrow. So you fight with the defilement in your mind. Should you continue to sit? Should you quit sitting and go and watch movie or the show that you want to see? This is patient to the defilements. So the Buddha compare patient to the earth. This is the earth. The earth doesn't care whatever people throw into it, hot or cold, garbage or flowers, something smell good, something smell bad. The earth doesn't care. The earth remain calm. This is how we should develop our mind, to be like the earth, to be stable, to be strong. Okay, and this is, if you like, check out the simile of the soul. The Buddha talk about the patience, and Buddhism reject all form of violence, body, speech, and mind. You may not say something bad, do something bad, but you may be thinking bad towards someone violently. That's not the teaching of the Buddha. All right, so check it out when you have time. And soracca is gentleness, modesty, restraint. The first meaning of soracca is restraint in the body and speech, which again is point to sila. Soracca is you are able to keep your mind joyous and radiant in all situations. You will not break precept. Patience can be stressful, right? You may be patient, but your mind is not joyful. In meditation, you may be patient to sit for 1 hour. If you can make your mind joyful, that means you develop something called soracca. But soracca usually easier to understand if you think of a person who are ill. If you think of a person who are ill like this, okay, khanti is ability to remain neutral when experiencing both pleasurable and unpleasurable situation. But soracca is the joyous mind when facing the hardship. You think of this at work, right? People may say something bad or do something bad to you. With khanti, with patience, you can remain calm. And when you remain calm, that means you have mindfulness. And when you have mindful, you have sati, then you can develop sampajanna of what to do, right? You don't have to say something bad to them. This is, you can put both khanti and soracca together. In my personal example, I when I think of soracca and khanti, I think of my mom. She was sick. She passed away 3 years ago, and she has the cancer, liver cancer. Every time I pay visit to her, she never cried. She never complained about her life. She always remained calm. She never looked for power from anybody. She just remained calm. She always smiling, even until her last breath. She was very strong. She was very patient. She was never show her weakness. She always smiling, and instead of me motivate her and encourage her, oppositely, she motivated me and encouraged me to be strong. Don't cry. I'm okay. Smiling. Have you ever visited someone at the hospital? By you look at them, by seeing that person, it motivates you that wow, this person is somebody. How can he or she remain calm in that fatal disease, in that difficult situation in life? And this is called soracca. Don't complain, don't cry, don't say something bad to anybody. Train your mind to be in that stage, to be calm, and okay, and do your best to keep your mind in a good stage, which is the state of mind that being clear. So okay, benefit of patience. This one again is in the text here, easy to understand. Okay, you will be lovable, right? If you are patient, you have a little enmity, you have a few faults because your mind is calm, and you won't feel lost when you're about to die. And when you die, you're born in a good place. Okay, this is again is understandable because your mind is not overcome or overwhelmed with anger, which is clouded the mind. So you need to cultivate loving kindness. You need to develop hire-ottappa. When you do something bad, if you're not patient, this is the consequence that you will receive. It's not worth it. Okay, and you need to be mindful. Mindfulness is everywhere. Okay, and perhaps you can habituate or direct the mind toward the wholesome thought when you're facing something that you don't like. And the reason you can do this it starts from you being mindful first. And when you're mindful, it gives rise to the sampajanna or the wisdom elements to take place. Practice khanti to be patient for all unwholesome stimuli that come to your life. Continue to do good thing, whatever people said. Maybe people may not agree with you at the beginning. If you believe this is good thing, continue doing it. And be patient, okay, to maintain calm and clear state of mind at all time. All right. I like this picture a lot. Okay, as a peace study student, this is what we learn: how try to understand the meaning of peace. Okay, in the midst of life storms, we can be in a perfect peace, and the reason we can do that because we have patience, right? We have khanti and we have soracca. We have mindfulness and we have the clear awareness or clear comprehension. See, sati-sampajanna, khanti, and soracca support each other, so you can remain calm in all kind of situation in your life. Okay, let's move on to the last one. The last group of today is called the rare person. The Buddha said these two kind of people are rare. The first is called Pubbakari. Second is called Katannukatavedi. There are two things. The Buddha once says, this is how you should train yourself. We will be grateful, which is Katanyu, and show gratitude, which is Katavedi. We won't forget even a small thing done for us. If someone do something good for you, even a little thing, don't forget. Oppositely, if someone do something bad to you, little thing, forget it, don't keep it. This is how you practice. People usually hold on the bad thing, not the good thing. So your job is try to let go. Memorize the good thing and find way to repay, to pay back those good things that you receive from others. What is Pubbakari? Pubbakari. Buppha mean it's come before, first or before. Kari mean action. So Buppakari mean a person. Buppakari person mean a person or a doer who give the service first, who support first, or the one who is first do a kindness to you, to us. That's called Buppakari. And the second Dhamma that group together here in this group is called Katanyu and Katavedi. There are two vocabulary merged together here. Katanyu is you recognize that this person do something good for me. And Katavedi, again, you feel grateful for that and you will find way to pay back to them, to those good things that they have done for you. So recognizing and repeatedly recollection the help given by anyone, okay, that you receive, whether little or much, or the one who is grateful for a kindness done and feel obligated to repay it. This is the idea of Katanyu Katavedi person. And they must be practiced together. The kindness and gratitude must be cultivated together. The reason I see that because from my experience, I have seen a lot of people, we recognize that people do something good for us, but we never pay attention of how can we pay back to them. How can you pay back to your parents that they raise you, they take care of you? How can you pay back to the Buddha that he teach us the Dhamma? How can you pay back to your teacher that teach you how to live good life? How do you pay back to your parents, your boss, your employee, whoever do something good for you? This is something that missing. As a Dhamma student, make sure that you practice both. Okay, I believe we recognize the good thing that people done for us, but how many times did you make an effort to do something back for them? Okay, just keep that in mind. Don't take everything for granted. This is the heartfelt consideration of the Katannukatavedi. You have actually benefit from them. They do something good. You benefit from that thing that they done for you. Second, you trust the motive behind those actions, that they wish you the best. That's why they do good thing for you. They don't have any hidden agenda. They do good from their heart to you. They wish you the best. And you can sense that the other person had to go out of his or her way to provide that benefit. To me, this is very touching. You can think of your parents. Parents do something good for you. Is there any hidden agenda? No, right? You can sense that they're sincere. They have to make an effort. They have to work hard to find us food, clothes, send us to good school. That's the parents. So they do something good for you. I don't know how much as a son and daughter you realize how much our father and mother have to sacrifice themselves for us, for the goodness of us, for the wellness of our life. So there are 4 groups of people that mentioned in this elementary level of the Dhamma study. The rare persons. The first is parents, right, and students. The relationship between parent and students. The teacher and the students. The kings and the citizens, or the presidents, the prime minister, the community leaders, and its citizens, and the Buddha and the faithful followers. You think of the Buddha. Think of this: the Buddha that spent 6 years torture himself. The more you study the Buddha history, I hope that the more you appreciate and grateful what he had done, what he discovered, and he shared with us with no condition, with love and kindness purely. He wished us the best, to listen to this Dhamma, or the truth of nature, and we put into practice. Our life will be happy. The Buddha did not get anything in return, right? Consider the rare person. What about our parents? They take care of us. Do we plan to take care of them, or we just abandon them? Okay, this is what I see in the West. People usually put their parents into the nursing home. Don't stay with me, just stay there. But in Thailand, we don't do that. We stay together, same house, till the day we die or separate from each other. Okay, so we pay respect to them. We respect parents just like the Arahant in the house, who give us life, who take care of us, give us food, give us education, whatever it is. They sacrifice their life a lot. Sometimes many parents will go to hell to save their children. They have to kill the fish, kill the chicken to feed the children. Then they go to hell. They're willing to do that. You see, we should appreciate that. So consider these 3 factors. Someone do something good for you, keep that in mind, find way and go back and repay them. Your teacher as well. They teach. They have to do a lot of things, prepare the teaching, teach you the best without getting anything in returns. So don't take everything lightly. Don't take everything for granted. Okay? Appreciate it, and if you can find way to show your appreciation. Okay, why Pubbakari and Katannukatavedi person is rare? This question is in the exam, so you need to think. Okay, your job tonight is to think why these people are considered rare according to the teaching of the Buddha. All right, that's it. Perfect timing. If you have questions, you feel free to type in the chat box. I hope not overwhelm you too much of this information. If anything, just let me know. I'll adjust next time. So this is the first class. There may be some thing that not go smoothly. Maybe a lot of things that you feel like should be adjusted next time. Again, feel free to let me know. And I'll do my best to prepare the lecture and send you the file at least 1 day before the lectures, so you can go through it first and prepare yourself first. If you don't have time, it's okay. Like I said, be happy, come to the class with good mind and learn something that benefit you. Okay, may the Buddha bless you. Okay, take care everyone. See everyone again next week.